Do you believe it is impossible to make a narcissist truly respect you? Do you feel like your only options are either suffering in silence or running away without a second thought? What if I told you that you are fundamentally mistaken? There is a way to crack their code. There is a technique that doesn't just stop their manipulation, but actually forces the narcissist to seek your approval, or, at the very least, fear crossing you. Today, we are not going to talk about the typical cliché advice like, just walk away. We are going to dissect a surgically precise method for shifting the power dynamic. Are you ready for a truth that might shock you? Then stay until the end. What you are about to hear will change the game forever. Before we get to the practical steps, we need to understand exactly who we are dealing with. A narcissist is not simply a person with an inflated ego. This is a personality defined by a deep internal black hole that constantly needs filling. This is known as narcissistic supply. Usually this supply is your emotion, your pain, your tears, your outbursts, and yes, even your love. For the narcissist, there is no real difference between a positive sign and a negative sign. They just need a reaction. As long as you react, you are under their control. In their warped view, respect is not about recognizing your inherent value as a human being. It is about recognizing your power. And today we are going to learn how to expertly demonstrate that power. Forget everything you were taught in fairy tales. Dealing with a narcissist requires cold, calculated detachment. Let's start with the foundational mistake almost everyone makes. We try to explain to the narcissist how much they hurt us. We genuinely believe that if we just find the right combination of words, they'll finally understand and change their ways. That is an illusion. Imagine trying to explain to a shark that biting is unethical. The shark just wants to eat. The narcissist feeds on your emotional reaction. When you cry or scream, they feel powerful. They feel like a god. They are controlling you. The first rule of this technique is complete emotional abstinence. You must become boring. I know that sounds strange, but boredom is the narcissist's kryptonite. If you deny them that emotional outburst, you become useless as a victim, but you become dangerous as an opponent. They cannot predict or calculate the moves of someone who refuses to react. This is the first step toward earning respect, the fear of the unknown. Now let's talk about a specific tool. In psychology, this is often called the grey rock method, but we're going to take it a step further. We're going to use the observer method. Picture the scenario. The narcissist starts an argument out of nowhere. They accuse you of things you never did. Your body instinctively wants to defend itself. You want to scream, "That's not true. Stop." Take a breath. Imagine you are a scientist observing a rare insect behind glass. You look at it with mild curiosity, but without any emotional involvement. You remain silent. Hold the pause longer than feels comfortable. Then you respond calmly, "I hear your point of view. That's interesting." And that's it. No justifications, no excuses. Watch their face in that moment. You will see confusion. They pushed the button, but the light didn't turn on. The mechanism is broken. The next technique we're covering is the no justification rule. You need to remember the acronym JADE. It stands for justifying, arguing, defending, and explaining. Never engage in JADE when dealing with a narcissist. The moment you start justifying yourself, you are granting them the authority to judge you. It's like stepping into their courtroom where they get to play the judge. You need to strip them of that power. For instance, if they hit you with, "You are constantly late, you are so irresponsible," do not start explaining the traffic or detailing your commute. You simply state, "Yes, I was late." Period. You acknowledge the factual statement, but you completely disregard the emotional attack embedded within it. This completely pulls the rug out from under them. They have nothing left to grab onto, and they can't escalate the conflict further. You become Teflon-coated. The criticism and the manipulation just slide right off. A crucial element here is mirroring, but I mean strategic mirroring, not childish mimicry. Narcissists often project their own flaws onto you. They accuse you of being selfish when, in fact, they are the selfish ones. Your job is to bounce those projections right back, but always framed as a question. If he says, "You only think about yourself," you calmly respond with, "What specifically about my behavior right now makes you feel that way?" Force him to elaborate. Usually they get completely lost because there's no actual substance, only the desire to sting you. When you ask these clarifying questions in the tone of a strict teacher, you instantly flip the role dynamic. Now, you are the one asking the questions and he is forced to respond. The person who asks the questions controls the conversation. Let's talk about boundaries. With a narcissist, boundaries aren't please, they are actions. Do not say, "Please, don't yell at me." That just sounds like a desperate plea. Instead say, "I will not continue this conversation if you use that tone." And here is the crucial part. If he keeps yelling, you must follow through on your promise. You hang up the phone, you walk out of the room, you leave the house. The narcissist only respects action. If you say, "You will leave but stay and continue arguing," he learns that your words are an empty threat. Your self-respect dictates the respect he gives you. The first time you walk out of the room, he'll be surprised. The second time, he'll be furious. But by the third time, he will remember that yelling means the conversation is over. This is conditioning. Moving on to flattery and compliments. Early in the relationship, the narcissist love-bombed you. Now they use mere crumbs of approval to keep you on a short leash. Stop seeking their validation. This is difficult, but absolutely necessary. When you stop asking those validating questions, did I do this right? Do you like it? You're stripping away their control. Start validating yourself out loud instead. Say things like, "I absolutely crushed that project," or "I love the way I look today." Assert your reality fiercely. The narcissist will try to challenge this. They will tell you that you look terrible. Your response? A simple shrug and the phrase, "Well, I like it," and tastes vary. You are demonstrating that their opinion is just that, an opinion, not the ultimate, undeniable truth. One very powerful technique is the broken record. Narcissists are experts at taking conversations completely off topic. You might start by discussing the budget, and 5 minutes later, you find yourselves arguing about what a terrible mother you had. Do not let him do this. Bring him back to the original subject using one consistent phrase. For example, "I understand, but we are talking about the money right now." He attacks again. You repeat, "I hear what you are saying, but let's return to the budget." Repeat this 10 times if necessary. Do not change your tone. Do not add emotion. Be a robot. Eventually, he will wear out. Energetically, it is simply not worth his while to keep hitting a wall that refuses to spark. He will either concede the point or walk away. Either way, you have won. Use the element of surprise. Narcissists study you constantly. They map out all your triggers. They know exactly which button to push, like mentioning your weight, to make you cry. So, break the script entirely. When they hit that painful trigger, do the one thing they don't expect, laugh, or agree with them using exaggerated irony. Say something like, "You're absolutely right. I am a cake-devouring monster," and smile widely. When you laugh at your own flaws, you turn them into armor. A narcissist cannot weaponize something you are not ashamed of. Laughter is the ultimate sign of freedom. Narcissists despise freedom in others, but they are forced to respect someone they cannot shame. Shame is their primary weapon. Disarm them completely with self-deprecating humor. The secret of silence. We fear conversational pauses. We interpret silence as tension. For a narcissist, silence is a vacuum they are compelled to fill. Leverage this. Ask an uncomfortable question and then stop talking. Hold eye contact, or if you're intimidated, stare at the spot between their eyebrows. Let the silence do the work. They will start to fidget. They will start to babble nonsense. They will begin to reveal their true intentions. The person who breaks the silence first loses this micro-duel. Practice holding that pause 3 seconds longer than you feel comfortable. In that moment, you project absolute confidence. You are not scrambling. You own the room. Focus on actions, not words. Narcissists are master storytellers. They can promise you the world just to win you back and then forget it all over again. Stop listening with your ears. Start listening with your eyes. If they say, "I'll change," but keep doing the exact same thing, believe their actions. Tell them plainly, "What I see what you're doing," and it directly contradicts your words. And this is called confronting them with reality. Narcissists live in a fantasy world. When you call them out on reality, they won't like it, but they realize you can no longer be bought with cheap promises. This forces a grudging respect. They know you can't be fooled. Stop being available around the clock. A narcissist views you as their personal property, believing you should answer their calls and texts instantly. Manufacture a sense of scarcity around your time. Don't pick up the phone immediately. Wait a couple of hours before responding to messages. Focus on your own life. When you are constantly available, your perceived value inevitably drops. When you have your own vibrant life, with hobbies, friends, and interests, you become a valuable resource they have to fight to access. The narcissist desperately wants to be the center of your universe. Shift that focus entirely onto yourself. Let them revolve around you, fighting to catch your attention. This is a fundamental reversal of the polarity in your relationship. Eliminate the word "we" from your vocabulary when discussing your feelings. Always use Don't say, "Well, we had a fight." Say instead, "I decided to end this conversation." Don't say, "We were hurt." Say, "This doesn't suit me." Separation is the narcissist's greatest fear because they cannot feel whole without merging with the victim. When you clearly separate yourself from them linguistically, you construct a mental boundary. You become an autonomous individual, and it is much harder to suppress a distinct personality than it is to suppress an amorphous mass. Emphasize your autonomy in every single phrase. I think. I want. I will do. Financial and emotional independence are the foundation. They are absolutely critical. A narcissist will often try to control your resources specifically to ensure you have no escape route. That's why you must always have your own safety net or your escape fund, even if it's a small amount that they don't know about. This provides an inner confidence, the feeling that I am here because I choose to be, not because I have nowhere else to go. This assurance is picked up immediately on a non-verbal level. Someone who has options behaves differently. They stand taller. They speak with more assurance. Narcissists smell dependency the way predators smell blood. Your mission is to eliminate that scent. Start gaining your independence, even if it's just in small ways. Never discuss the narcissist with people you both know. Narcissists often have their own entourage, their flying monkeys, who will report every single word you say. If you complain, that information will get back to them, and they will use it against you, painting you as a crazy, hysterical mess. Keep your mouth shut around mutual friends. Be an enigma. If they ask you about the narcissist, keep your answers short and neutral. Say something like, "We're doing fine, thanks." This absolutely drives the narcissist crazy. They hate not being able to control the narrative about themselves, and they won't know what you are actually thinking. That information deficit forces them to tread carefully around you. Stick to brief, closed-off responses. Yes, no, maybe. I'll think about it. These are the perfect counters to provocation. Let's say a narcissist sends you a massive wall of text, 5 pages long, full of accusations. Your response is simply, okay. This is a pure demonstration of power. You're showing that their tirade isn't worth your time or effort. You are not wasting energy on a reply. Energy conservation is fundamentally a survival principle here. The less you invest in the interaction, the more you retain for yourself. Their effort vanishes into the void. This invalidates their entire attack far better than any verbal argument ever could. Stop playing the rescuer. Narcissists frequently play the victim card to evoke pity and manipulate you into solving their problems. The script sounds like, "I'm so miserable, nobody understands me, only you can truly help." Don't fall for it. Shift the responsibility back onto them. Instead, tell them, "I'm confident you can handle this. You are an adult." Do not rush in to solve their problems. The dynamic changes the moment you stop being their mommy or daddy. You stop catering to their immaturity. An adult is respected. Someone acting as a caretaker or servant is simply used. Choose to operate as the adult. You need to prepare for what's called narcissistic rage. When you first start implementing these techniques, things will initially get worse. He'll attempt to ramp up the pressure to try and bring you back under his control. He'll scream louder, and his accusations will be sharper. This is what we call an extinction burst, and it's actually a very good sign. It means his old tactics have finally stopped working and he is panicking. The most critical thing at this stage is absolutely not to surrender your position. If you can simply weather this storm and remain calm, he will break. He'll realize that the old key no longer fits this particular lock. It's only after that stage that you finally begin to earn his begrudging respect. Document everything. Narcissists are masters at gaslighting. They will try to convince you that you imagined it all, that none of it ever happened. Start keeping a journal. Write down specific dates and events. Take screenshots of your texts or emails. You aren't doing this for a court case, you are doing it for yourself, so that when doubt creeps in, you can look at your documentation and say, "No, I haven't lost my mind, this absolutely happened. Here is the proof." When you rely on concrete facts, they cannot confuse you or lead you astray. Your belief in your own sanity becomes armor that gaslighting simply cannot penetrate. Never let them see you sweat, even if your knees are shaking. A narcissist is essentially a playground bully. They only prey on those who look frightened or vulnerable. Focus on your posture. Take deep, diaphragmatic breaths. Pull your shoulders back. Hold eye contact. Speak slowly. A slow, calm, low voice carries far more authority than one that is high-pitched and rushed. Remember, body language makes up 80% of your communication. Fake the confidence until you genuinely internalize it. Your body will signal your brain that everything is under control. The narcissist will read that signal and instinctively hesitate. Aggressors hate attacking those who stand their ground. And now for the most crucial point. Be ready to lose the relationship. It's a paradox, but a narcissist senses your fear of losing them and exploits that fear immediately. The moment you internally make the decision, "If this continues, I will walk away and I will be perfectly fine," you become truly invulnerable. Your strength isn't in trying to force them to change. Your strength is in knowing, deep down, that you will not only survive but thrive without them. This knowledge radiates from you and is visible in your eyes, and that is the only thing that earns a narcissist's genuine respect. It's not the fear of being alone, it is the absolute readiness to choose yourself. We've come a long way together. You now understand that respect from a narcissist isn't about warmth or care, it's simply the acknowledgement of your boundaries. This is a direct result of your strength and consistency. The crucial realization is this: you don't need to change him. You need to change your reaction to him. Once you stop being the fuel for his ego, he will be forced to either leave and seek easier prey or accept your rules of engagement. Remember this: you are not responsible for his behavior, but you are responsible for what you allow to happen to you. Start applying these techniques today. Try the grey rock method. Try the strategic pause. Watch how the dynamic around you shifts. Thank you for watching this video all the way through. If you found it helpful, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next releases. Giving this video a like helps others in distress find this crucial information. Finally, tell me in the comments, which of these techniques are you going to try first? Or maybe you have your own secret for handling manipulators. Let's discuss it below. Take care of yourself and protect your boundaries. See you next time.